What's up, everyone? This is Kronos, aka Adam, back with another WWE Week in Review. Happy Halloween to everyone that will be celebrating, whether with your kids or just yourselves. Be safe out there, obviously. As always, what I like to do is go over everything that happened in the world of WWE programming, from Raw to NXT to Smackdown. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. For audio listeners, you can check me out from the page. I think I'm on Apple Podcasts. I got to get all that information figured out and a better way to intro it. Anyway, so big week. I also did my AEW Week in Review, which will be a link at the end of this. And so we're just going to jump right into it, as always. So we're going to start off with Raw. We got Drew coming out in street clothes. Says he has no excuses, just a promise that he'll get his title back. Quotes Rocky about the it's not how hard you got kicked down, but you're how hard you get up, that whole thing. Miz and Morrison out with the Money in the Bank briefcase that they won at Hell in a Cell. They're going over Miz's history with Money in the Bank. Drew takes them both out. He basically warns them. He's like, don't start, don't keep your mouth shut, stop trying to, poke the bear. They obviously do. Miz with the chop block, but they run off. Drew says, he has an idea and he wants to run it by management. I mean, it's just a match against Miz. It wasn't like it was anything really devious, so I just thought that was kind of stupid. So we're now getting our Survivor Series qualifier matches for the men's Survivor Series team to represent Raw. Unfortunately, this year NXT will not be a part of it. It's mainly, I guess, because of COVID, which sucks. Because NXT being involved last year was one of the highlights of the entire year. The invasion and just the spotlight that was put on NXT. So we get AJ versus Hardy. We do find out that Drew will face Miz later tonight. As I said, I don't know why it was like that. It wasn't anything devious. AJ doesn't believe he needs to qualify. His associate doesn't like to be noticed or talked to. And I just find this so stupid what they're doing with him. Why am I blanking on his name? Jordan, there you go. Because it was like he was all jokey with Shane when there was Raw Underground, and he was all talkative. Now all of a sudden he's very stoic. He doesn't say anything. They don't even acknowledge his name, as if they don't know who he is. Commentary, it's so fucking stupid. It's like you said it when he first came out. Oh, that's Jordan from Raw Underground. Now all of a sudden you act like you don't know him. Like, we're not idiots. Like, you can say he was Jordan. He was from Raw Underground. Or you can even give him a new name. Say that his full name is whatever, and he wants to be called that, and Jordan was his nickname. Or something. It just, like, you're playing us for idiots for the storyline. We know who he is. We've seen him interact for weeks upon weeks. We know who he is. Like, stop acting like he's, like, all of a sudden. Not even that. They don't even acknowledge what the actual relationship is between them. Like, did AJ hire him? Are they friends? Like, they don't even acknowledge that. It's so stupid. Anyway. So we get Hardy dives to the outside, caught by Jordan, goes to commercial break. We don't even know what happened there. But we're back from break. AJ with a brainbuster for a 2 count. AJ with a torch rack bomb, which is really cool for a 2 count, kind of like a Blue Thunder bomb. Hardy hesitates going to the top because of Jordan. AJ crouches him. Jeff goes for a twist of fate on the apron, but is sent into the post. Phenomenal forearm for the win. So then we get Elias with the guitar shot on Hardy from behind after the match. Obviously getting payback for what happened at Hell in a Cell. Truth backstage interview. Sorry for the hissing as always. It's the heater in my building. Can't really stop it. Everyone wants their hands on his baby. Truth is talking. Lucha House Party Akira versus Gulak will have a match, and he's going to be out there to scout. So then we get Akira and Gulak versus Lucha House Party. So Lucha House Party now went from tag team titles to fighting against people for the who are involved in the 24/7. Great. Truth music hits early on in the match. He comes down to commentary. He's then getting involved in the match, and the ref doesn't stop it. Like, Gulak tries to attack him, or Akira, one of them, and he basically throws him into the barricade. The ref sees this, doesn't do it, but yet when a couple months ago, when Bayley and Asuka were fighting in a match, were fighting on the outside of a match, who weren't even involved in the match, that ended the match. WWE logic for you. Lindsay with a crossbody misses Truth, but hits Gulak for the pin and the win. So the match is still going on while this is all happening. It just doesn't make any sense. Everyone tries to pin Truth, usual. He kicks out, runs off. We then get Firefly Funhouse, where Bray is holding a tea party. He's dressed like the Mad Hatter. Alexa comes in, brings tea. Oh, I always get nervous when I say that because I have the Echo Dot over there. The tea gives Rambling Rabbit, has arsenic in it, and he dies really gruesomely. I just thought that was a little over the top and unnecessary. So Bray says that Bliss should be mad because she's there. She doesn't, why, she's like, well, why am I mad? And he's like, well, because you're here. And basically she does the let him in bit. She mentions Randy Orton. Bray then goes into a trance. They show the picture of the burning building, which they've shown in the past as kind of a reminder of when Randy burned down the house with Sister Abigail in it. Rambling actually comes to, thinks he's okay, and then Bray kills him again anyway. So, there you go. Backstage interview with Keith Lee. Braun couldn't beat him like a man. He'll show him what a monster really is. Adam Pearce is backstage, runs into Nia and Shayna. Nia says she's team captain and compiled the list. Pearce says she's not the team captain. Shayna also compiled the list. Apparently, Nia grabs it. She wasn't on it. He'll have an answer for them by the end of the night. I like their interactions now. I think it's they're getting even better at like this love-hate relationship they have. We get another Survivor Series qualifier match. We get Elias versus Keith Lee. Elias is celebrating his new album. We get Lee interrupts Elias playing per usual. We get Lee with a fun splash. He pounces Elias over the commentary desk. Elias counters a spirit bomb with a Rana. Elias with the jumping knee and then ramming Lee into the post. But Lee begins to power up. Elias hits the mule kick. He goes to the top. As he goes to the top, there's Hardy's music starts to play, but Hardy doesn't come out. It just provides enough distraction for Lee to toss him from the top rope, then hit the spirit bomb for the win. And then we get Hardy with the guitar shot on Elias. Another shot by Elias. So they're just going. By Hardy. So they're just going back and forth with chair shots. I'm assuming there'll be some kind of match, or maybe a guitar on a pole match or something. Who knows? Hurt Business is backstage. They bully some guy who wants to use the bathroom, having a good joke about that. We get Randy backstage. I believe he's asked if there's concern for the Fiend. He said it doesn't matter who you are, there's only one Randy Orton. We get Hurt Business versus Retribution in an elimination match a few weeks before Survivor Series. Lashley will face Sammy at SummerSlam, so this is where I noticed that there was going to be no NXT, which I believe sucked, but I understood the situation. Retribution is a liability, and that's bad for business. This was a promo by MVP. So the Retribution has their entrance with the so annoying camera angles where the cameras are shaking and everything. It's so stupid. They're crazy, they're wild. We need to shake the camera when we see them. The production value of it is so dumb. So Lashley's taking on Dijak. Then eventually MVP gets into the ring, and then Mia Yim is having what looks like to be a seizure that allows Slapjack to pin him. This was really stupid. This just shows how dumb the booking of Retribution is and how far Mia Yim has fallen. I'm almost happy now that Mercedes Martinez is no longer involved in this group. I don't know if it's because of any kind of COVID-related stuff or they just decided to take her out. Either way, and not even that, it's like, we're supposed to have these, names for them. When she was doing the convulsing thing, the ref was literally screaming, Mia, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's wrong? Screaming Mia. So it's her name. So I just, so dumb. So during the break, it shows that she faked it the whole time and then gets thrown out by the ref. Spear from Lashley eliminates Slapjack. Dijak and Lashley beat the crap out of each other to a double countout elimination. You saw that coming. A neutralizer and pay dirt combo on Mace for the elimination. So Ali is basically by himself against Cedric and Shelton Benjamin. He then hits a chair shot on Cedric to DQ. So the Hurt Business comes out. Ali runs away. So basically Retribution loses again. So they're really tough, and they're really making things tough for Raw and WWE. They're completely buried. Anyone who says they aren't just doesn't want to admit it. They had a good idea, a good concept, and Ali joining made what little, which the crap that they were going through more palatable and more interesting, and now they've made him completely useless as well. The heat is so annoying. Angel Garza is hitting on Mandy and Dana. Mandy says she's still with Otis. Angel then tries to hit on Nia and Shayna, and they say beat it. They're all talking about the Survivor Series team. Nia is smelling the rose that Angel Garza gave her, and Shayna is just like disgusted by it. Drew versus Miz, that was set up earlier today. Miz going after the knee and ribs of Drew that were injured in the night previous at Hell in a Cell. Miz is trying his best, but Drew is able to counter everything. Morrison tries another attack, but gets tossed. Drew tosses the money in the briefcase up the ramp, kind of like what's his name? Brock Lesnar did a while ago with Braun Strowman's. Eventually hits the Claymore for the win. So Miz just is not I don't know what they're going to do with him in this case at this point. New Day backstage dressed like street profits talking about Survivor Series. Asuka comes up, says she wants the smoke. New Day throw to all the match graphics of all the matches that will happen. Her Business comes by saying that Lashley will take out Sami Zayn and they want the tag belts. Asuka starts the New Day Rocks chant. Backstage with Drew says this is the first step to getting his title back. Randy will have a moment of bliss, which he's going to be on. Just not one of bliss, though. So there you go. Pierce and Buck are in the ring. They're introducing the women's Raw team for Survivor Series. Apparently there's no qualifying for them. They did this last year, where it's like one did qualifying, one didn't do qualifying. It doesn't make any sense. Everyone should just be qualifying for it, or none should. It's that simple. I don't understand what the flip-flop is and why certain ones doing, like, you have 3 hours for Raw. You can do it. It's not, they have enough women on their roster to do enough matches if they wanted to. And then you get to highlight these women in the matches too, and it doesn't seem like it's just 4 or 5 people all the time. So Nia and Shayna are first, Mandy and Dana are next. Nia wants to announce the 5th member of the team as team captain. They all start arguing. Pierce says, you're not the team captain, and we're not going to announce it because there's going to be a fatal 4-way for the 5th member, Lana, Lacey, Peyton, and Nikki, which apparently Nikki has new music now. So we have that match. Peyton's in control early. Nikki then takes control. Peyton does a gory special, drops Nikki on Lacey for a 2 count. There's a Tower of Doom spot, and then Lana slides in and pins Nikki for the win. And then they're all shocked. The 4 members who were already named were shocked, but, congratulating Lana. Nia even hugs her and then gives the word to Shayna to start, wiping off the desk. And Lana goes through the desk with a Samoan drop for the 6th time. I'm at a loss for words at this point. I just don't care anymore. Lana being on the team is terrible. I mean, Nikki Cross has now fallen so far. They supposedly they have these high hopes for Peyton. Lacey Evans is given way too many chances, but she's still a better wrestler than Lana. I just don't get it. I don't know. Like I thought maybe her winning was hey, we're sorry for just shitting on you for all these weeks, and then they put her through the table again. So it's like I don't even get it. Which what'll end up happening though is Lana will be the one that is the sole survivor. That's what's going to happen, which is ridiculous. Another backstage interview with Randy. He's asked after the Funhouse, "Are you still gonna do it?" He says, "Yeah." Funhouse with a moment of bliss. Funhouse could be a setup. He says he's not afraid. Basically, just really quick, short answers. Then we get this match, which is an absolute banger of a match. What do you call it? Survivor Series qualifier match. Sheamus versus Riddle, who apparently now they've dropped his first name of Matt, so now he's just Riddle. So dumb. Another name change unnecessarily. We know his name. He was a UFC fighter. His name is Matt Riddle. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I bet it's makes sense that because of the fact that the match did so well that there was increased spotlight on both of them. So it's just so stupid. But right before the match, we get a Mustafa Ali promo where they are on a mission and willing to sacrifice for it. Basically, wins don't matter. What? So dumb. Riddle attempting multiple submissions. Sheamus tries a Kimura. Riddle counters with a gut wrench. The Irish Curse backbreaker. Then the 10 beats of the Bowery. PK on the apron by Riddle and a twisting moonsault. V-trigger by Sheamus for a 2 count. We get an avalanche exploder by Riddle for a 2 count. Floating bro. Sheamus gets the knees up. The sleeper wears down Sheamus. Sheamus then goes for the bro kick, misses. Counter with the German bridge for a 2 count. Riddle, his back is out, so he tries to go for the bro Derek. Sheamus hits the bro kick then for the win. This was an absolute banger of a match. Such a slugfest, hard hitting. But yeah, I mean, Sheamus wins though. So I don't know what they're doing with Riddle. I mean, he was, basically an Intercontinental contender at one point, now not. We get our moment of bliss, the final moment of the night. Bliss has a Yowie Wowie overalls on. Randy won't sit down though. Bliss is full on Harley Quinn at this point. She says that you guys burned down the house at Hell in a Cell, and then he's like, there it is. Randy wants to know where the Fiend is. Drew comes out. They fight in the ring. Bliss is just watching and laughing. Drew destroys the set. Drew sets up for a Claymore. The lights go out. We get the Fiend's entrance stuff in. Drew is alone in the ring. Randy is backing up the ramp. Realizes the Fiend is behind him. Says, you know what? I'd rather just fight Drew. So he goes back down the ramp, fights Drew, and we go off the air. Apparently, one of them stabbed the other with a pen during the overtime. I think it was Drew. Oh no, I think it was Randy stabbing Drew. I think I forget exactly, but I don't know if we'll get that this coming week on Raw. They'll talk about it, and then we go to NXT. NXT Halloween Havoc, which actually beat AEW in the ratings, but I mean this nostalgia and the lead up to having Halloween Havoc back again, I think that's what really drove the ratings. I mean, AEW still won in all the big key demographics, but overall ratings, NXT won here. We get the nice creepy intro. The set looks really cool. Shotzi looks amazing. So we get our first match, Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano, where they spin the wheel, make the deal. Priest has a live band for his intro, which is awesome. Priest already in the ring with his most vampire gear yet. Johnny destroys the inflatable pumpkin, which was like the only dumb thing. Because he's a big fan of animation, he has the Nightmare, the Jack Skellington gear. At first I thought it was Beetlejuice, but I was corrected. It was Jack Skellington. So we get to spin the wheel, and it's a Devil's Playground match, which basically means no DQ, no countout, falls count anywhere. This match was an absolute awesome match. We get a jumping flatliner by Priest. Spinning heel kick by Priest, looked flush on Johnny's face. Priest sent into the steps. Johnny has a kendo stick. Priest pulls out the baton, which I thought was pretty funny visual there. Johnny smashed into the sides during picture-in-picture. Johnny hit with the steps and beat up on the deflated pumpkin during picture-in-picture. Gets a baton to the ankle. We get the South of Heaven by Priest for a 2 count, which is basically just the sit-out chokeslam. Sliced bread on the ring steps by Johnny. That looked awesome. Broken arrow on the commentary table. Vic is dressed as Waldo, which I thought was funny. I couldn't see what Wade looked like, but we get to that later. Johnny opens a coffin, and one of these animatronic skeletons comes out and he super kicks it, which I thought was funny. They're fighting to the backstage. Johnny uses the fire extinguisher and a garbage can on top of Priest, and then smashed into a garage door. He then runs the dumpster into him. So Johnny with the Gargano escape with the crowbar, but Priest battles out of it. They fight up where the wheel is. Guy in a scream mask hits Priest with a pipe, hands Johnny a tombstone that shatters on Priest's face, and he dives off the stage through this shack, which was a crazy spot. Johnny crawls over to him to pin him for the win. Your new North American title holder, the first 2-time North American title holder, it's Johnny Gargano. We then get Wade abusing Vic for his costume. He says he's dressed as Bad News Bear, and he's got some bad news for you. You look like an idiot, which I thought was funny. Pat McAfee arrives with Birch and Lorcan. We get backstage. Grimes meets Regal. Regal tells him that Van's picking him up for his haunted house match. He really doesn't want to do it. He's scared. You can tell he's just really against this from the start. We then get McAfee out with Lorch and Birkin. Halloween Havoc only... Wait. Oh yeah, so he said Halloween Havoc is only the second to take over 30 as the greatest debut in the biz. Pat, he's such a great heel. His promo is awesome. Cole didn't give him props, just flexed on him after their match. He's too busy to handle Cole, so he goes over all of his revenue streams. He admits that he was the one who paid off Ridge Holland to take him out, and then he looked over to Oney Lorcan and said, "You know what? It was an expensive mistake." Says that he went to Lorcan and Birch. They couldn't be bought, but then when they lost to Undisputed Era, they came back. Kyle O'Reilly comes out by himself, and then Peter Dune is out with 2 chairs looking swole as fuck. Obviously, they McAfee, Birch, and Lorcan, they get out of the ring. Dune hands the chair to Kyle O'Reilly. They get in the ring. Peter Dune takes a step back and then wallops Kyle O'Reilly with the chair. They beat him down. We get the Danielson stomps on Kyle O'Reilly by Peter Dune. And then they do the arm stomp on the chair. That looked gross. Assisted DDT on the chair. Says Pat is smarter than them. So basically we're just setting it up for War Games. That's what it has to be. War Games? So yeah. So Grimes says he'll take the loss even. He's backstage with Regal. Says, he doesn't want to do it. He'll take the loss. He doesn't care. A white van pulls up. There's some creepy guy in the passenger seat. The back opens up and it's Doc Hendricks is out. The music was too loud. I couldn't hear him. He was just looking kind of like weird. But Grimes reluctantly gets in the van. They drive off. We get Santos Escobar versus Jake Atlas. Santos with the amazing Rey Mysterio tribute gear, where he dressed like the Phantom at the 1998 Halloween Havoc with that banger match against Eddie Guerrero. You can't find people that don't say that match might not be in their top 10, because that match was phenomenal. And an ode to Rey Mysterio and that gear by Santos. He's in control early. He's telling Atlas to quit. We get a German release, massive forearm by Atlas for a 2 count. Cartwheel DDT hits, but Wild puts Santos' foot on the ropes. Atlas with the Tope Con Hero on LDF. Mendoza then headbutts Atlas with the loaded mask. We get the Butterfly Facebuster by Santos for the win. I don't know if he's no longer going to be doing the Phantom Driver or if he just kind of breaks that out, when he, different occasions. But this Facebuster thing looks pretty cool too. We get an Ember promo. Dakota Kai stepped up, which is what she wanted. Kai used to be afraid of her own shadow when Ember left NXT, but the receipt is coming, so obviously we'll get that match. We get a Haunted House of Terror match. This is in multiple segments. This was one of the funniest things. Grimes versus Loomis. This was going to be one of those cinematic matches. Grimes tossed from the van, looks terrified. It's great. He's hiding in a tree, Loomis is, when... Grimes goes to this, goes through this house. A tricycle scare is there, and basically he's like, "Oh, Loomis, you got kids?" So we get the ref is in the corner, turns around because he's like, "Oh, is this a Falls Count Anywhere?" And it turns out it's like Blair Witch. He turns around, and the ref is a zombie. Loomis breaks through a door, and they fight. Grimes is holding the door closed. Loomis breaks it down. Grimes runs away. Goes to the bathroom, locks the door, then realizes sees the silhouette of a girl showering, and then just gets into all creep smash mode. Oh, I didn't know Loomis had a sister. All of a sudden, he starts taking off his clothes. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, you're in the middle of a haunted house match. There's zombies everywhere, and now you're trying to smash some girl in the shower. So the door, the curtain gets put over to the side. It's a zombie. He runs away. Loomis comes through the window. Grimes is attacked by a zombie woman. He then runs off with the woman on his back. He then throws her over the fence, goes into the van. Loomis is driving the van. Grimes jumps out, starts running down the street. We get a to be continued. So this is already hysterical. Rhea versus Raquel Gonzalez. This is even in the power department. They're beating the shit out of each other. Driving drop kick by Rhea. Cannonball senton caught Raquel, sent into the barricade, then powerbomb to the floor. Raquel gory special rack. Basement drop kick by Rhea for a 2 count. Rhea with the reverse cloverleaf. Raquel powers out of it. We get kind of a tour of the island slam by Raquel for a 2 count. Rhea can't hit the avalanche riptide. Rhea tossed from the top for a 2 count, but eventually Rhea does get the Riptide for the win. This made Raquel look great. Obviously, they're trying to build back up Rhea because they kind of, after she lost at WrestleMania, we really haven't seen much of her as far as her star as high as it was back then. Grimes is running down the street, and then Vic says, is he coming back to the Capitol Wrestling Center? Backstage interview with Drake dressed up as Hulk. He's trying to do Mackenzie as, it's something Mean Gene, and Mackenzie just won't go with the bit. Dane comes in, he's dressed as the Shockmaster, but he won't fall. He says, no, I picked that thing up. I'm not down with that. And then Drake says, you weren't down for the music? Nope. You weren't down for the name? Nope, definitely not. And, you won't even do the fall. He's like, how long it took me to make this mask? And then he falls, and then Dane actually is loving it. He's like, look at him, he fell. So Grimes is back at the Capitol Wrestling Center, making his way through the set. Zombies are on the set, and he's freaking out. Grimes gets into the ring. There's a big smoke. He realizes Loomis is behind him. We get a spine buster. Grimes does the cave in on a zombie. There's the zombie who's doing like that koala challenge, climbing all over Loomis. Then Loomis tosses that zombie on Grimes. We hit the side effect, the Anaconda Vice, and then basically Grimes is out unconscious. Loomis then leaves, starts walking up the ramp, and we get the end graphic. So there you go. Io and Candice video package. We get a Ciampa promo. He doesn't recognize this NXT anymore. The attitude, the culture. They all think they're owed something. He's hungrier. Fate took away his spot, but he's taking it back. Dream can't get out of his own way. And then, hit me with a cast once. Shame on me. Hit me in a cast twice. You're a dead man. I don't know really what they have for Ciampa anymore. It just seems like I feel like he'd be better served on the main roster, even though I know that it's a little weird because I feel like they'll probably just ruin him on the main roster, but it's just like there's nothing for him there. Next week we find out that Dream will face Ciampa, Moon versus Kai, NXT Women's Title, Candice versus Io, Poppy out for Io's. Poppy the singer is out for Io's intro, which was cool. Tables, ladders, and scares match is what the wheel says. Basically, it's a ladder match rule, so basically it's just a ladder match. So this is our main event. So Io does a suicide dive. Candice goes for a table. There's a bag of limbs in it. Io beats her with one of the arms. Candice sent over commentary. Candice hits Io with the laptop, which sounded nasty. Double knees into Candice against the stairs. We get Io in control during picture-in-picture. We get Io misses double knees into the ladder. Candice is superplexed on the chairs at one point, which was wild. We get Io just regular suplex, not superplex. Sorry. Io twists Candice's ankle with a chair as her leg was caught in the ropes. We get a miss 619, gets chair in the back though. Swinging neckbreaker by Candice from the apron through the tables that she set up outside. There was 2 tables set up, so they both go through them. The Scream Mask person comes back, is helping Candice get up the ladder. Shotzi then comes down, takes out the person in the Scream Mask. Io sets up her own ladder as they fight. And now, earlier in the match, which I didn't say, was that Candice had set up a bridge ladder from the apron to the commentary desk, so it was laid out flat. So as Candice is on the ladder trying to go for the belt, Io sets up her own ladder, gets up, and they fight. Io gets knocked off, but then tips the ladder over that Candice was on. Candice then goes from the ladder, over the ropes, through the fucking ladder. That was holy shit moment, wild. Io then climbs up and wins. You see Johnny out there trying to help her, so the Gargano, taking over NXT did not happen. My question is, what are they doing with Candice? Like, are they ever going to give her the title? Like, what's the point then? Why are they having her in here? You should move on then. I mean, I know you have Ember, you have Dakota Kai, you have Raquel Gonzalez, you have Rhea Ripley. I mean, you have Toni Storm. I mean, you get that, but it's like, this was perfect for, especially because it was a ladder match, so you don't even have to have her have the title that long. But it just seems like I just don't know what they're doing with with Candice at this point. So that is NXT. And now we get Smackdown. So we get Roman out with Heyman. Jay is already in the ring. Jay said, "You ain't beat me. You ain't that type of person." Roman demands he take the oath. Roman says, of course he used Jimmy. It's what one needs to do to be the champ and to shoulder the burden of being the champ. He says the family is all behind him. You saw them out there. You don't fall in line and your ass is out. Jay says he hates him. Roman knows he does right now, but he loves Jay. And by the end of the night, Jay will fall in line. And you can see Jay is just crushed at this point. He's very emotional. We get our first Suicide Squad. Because I'm wearing the Suicide Squad shirt. Survivor Series qualifier. KO versus Ziggler. KO basically just looks like he's always ready for a street fight, wearing jeans, and he's got the wrist taped up. Rude is tossed when he caught throwing KO back into the ring. KO with the swinging air raid crash for a 2 count. The knees up on the Swanton by Dolph for a 2 count. Super kick by KO. Pop-up powerbomb countered into a famouser, which looked awesome for a 2 count. There's a series of pinning attempts, and then KO hits the stunner for the win. So KO is your first member of the Smackdown Survivor Series men's team. Natalya is asking Pierce to be captain of the Survivor Series team. Billy comes out there with a headshot of her own and a list of her accomplishments. Bianca then comes out. It's the best of the best, which apparently is now the subtitle of this one. And she's the EST, and she needs to have her be the leader. Natalya starts clapping at Bianca. Pierce makes a triple threat for the 3 of them, and that'll be the first member of the Survivor Series team. We get Corey interviewing Lars earlier that day. Lars busts his balls about being called the Freak, since that's all they ever say. Talks about his first time he was called the Freak when he was young. Says he's going to unleash pain and humiliation to anyone who gets in his way. I didn't care about this at all. So we get that Survivor Series qualifier triple threat: Bianca, Billy, Natalya. Orange gear for Bianca for Halloween, look great. Recap, while this is going on, we get a recap of Buddy and Seth. We get Aaliyah and Buddy backstage. Aaliyah says that her mom just wants her to be happy, but Ray and Dominic won't even speak to her. Buddy says he's going to publicly apologize to them. It's terrible. Bianca and Natalya going out while Billy is just picking their spots on the outside. We get the handspring moonsault by Bianca. Natalya breaks the count. Natalya with the sharpshooter. Billy with the kind of like a bulldog choke. And Natalya stops, realizes, and goes after Billy. Billy's trying to pin everybody a bunch of times, can't get anyone. Billy's in the sharpshooter. Bianca posts Natalya and then hits the KOD on Billy for the win. So Bianca Belair is your first member of the Women's Survivor Series team. So we get a Carmella vignette, makes her own rules, calls the shots, will do whatever it takes to win. She's going to show why she's untouchable. I don't care at all. Buddy out to the ring. Aaliyah's with him. Says he's not the same man and asks Ray and Dominic to come out. Seth comes out instead. Ray and Dominic will never forgive him and never accept him. Seth will always accept him and forgive him. Seth tells Aaliyah Ray is controlling and Dominic is a coward. Dom sneaks up and starts attacking Seth. Buddy pulls him off, and then he starts attacking Seth. Then they start fighting each other. Ray comes out and fights with Buddy too. They set him up for a 619. Aaliyah gets in the way. Aaliyah drops the I love you, I love him, and won't leave. She kisses Buddy. Seth's face on the ramp is classic in this. They try to get her to leave. Ray and Dominic, she won't leave. So it's just the 2 of them in the ring. This is just creepy and gross. I know she's 18, but he's like 30-something. And it's just, not even just, take that out of it. It's just stupid. It's just stupid angle. All this is going to be, the only thing that would save this is if Buddy is putting on the roll, the right arm. That would be great. That would be absolutely fantastic to mess with the Mysterio family like that. Woo. So Daniel Bryan's backstage getting ready because he has what does he have? I can't even get the words out. Survivor Series. A qualifying match against Jay. Says Jay has changed over the last 2 months. He's preparing to get the best Jey Uso. I believe this was for the Smackdown Tag Team title. Street Profits versus Cesaro and Shinsuke. They love and appreciate the New Day. Street Profits come out. Imitation of Siren's form of flattery. We get a blockbuster on Cesaro by Ford. Tope con Hero hits only on Shinsuke. Cesaro launches Ford over the barricade. We get the hot tag to Dawkins cleans house. Jumping knee, gut wrench bomb combo on Dawkins, but Ford breaks the pin. We get a superplex by Dawkins and then a frog splash by Ford for the win. So they maintain their SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and they'll face New Day. That'll be a fantastic match. Sami Zayn promo, no one more fitting to represent the Intercontinental title than someone who's revered all around the world. Lashley only represents one country and he will defeat him. So far they have not mentioned the Lashley sisters portion, so there's good so far. Sasha, the new SmackDown Women's Champion, out with the chair. Thank Bayley for stabbing her in the back because it ended in error. She's the boss now on Friday nights. Bayley comes out. Everyone knows you can win a title, but you can't keep it, which is true. Sasha is notorious for not being able to defend her titles. You can't beat Asuka without her. So she's challenging Sasha next week for the title. And then Sasha says backstabbing bitches never win. So there you go. Hopefully this is another good match. I just don't want them to overdo it because that match at Hell in a Cell was great. We then get our SmackDown qualifier, main event, Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso. You can't see the emotion of... You can see the emotion on Jay's face. He's super aggressive to start. We get the yes kicks. Jay bails on the last one. Roman and Heyman come out. Jay reverses top rope suplex. Bryan reverses the pin for a 2 count. Jay counters a dive with a super kick. Bryan counters the splash into the label lock. Jay gets to the ropes. We get 2 super kicks and a splash for Jay for the win. Straight up, clean. Jey Uso beats Daniel Bryan. So Roman then comes into the ring. Jay calls him the head of the table, says he understands, says that he's hits another super kick on Bryan and then a splash. Says he understands now and he's with him. Roman says make Bryan understand, make him understand. So then there's more of a beatdown on Bryan. Goes to the outside, clears the commentary desk, puts Bryan on the outside, on top of it, and then dives from the top to the table. I think it looked a little far. It looked like he missed that and hit the corner of the table. It looked pretty bad. Hopefully he's okay. But shut up. So that is the end of SmackDown. Jay absolutely is now in line. I think it was a little faster than I would have anticipated. I thought it would have taken more convincing for him to be in line. I thought he'd be out there with Roman, but not completely doing the stuff. Maybe he's doing it so that he can get inside with Roman and then either turn Roman back or foil Roman's plans to be the champion. Who knows? But there you have it. That's my WWE Week in Review. As always, I give my match of the week, and there were a few, but it absolutely has to be the Tables, Ladders, and Scares match between Io and Candice. That was hard hitting. There were some crazy spots. This is why Candice LeRae is one of the best in the business. I mean, that spot through the ladder at the end was just absolutely insane. The swinging net breaker through the tables, taking the suplex on the tables. Who is the masked person? I assume it's Indy Hartwell, but we don't know for sure because it looked like there was a guy. It seemed more like a moveset of a guy when he was in the North American title match. But yeah, so that was my match of the week. Absolutely incredible. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing with Candice after this. I don't know if they're just kind of moving on from now. If they do continue with Candice, they got to make her win at some point. I mean, it just makes sense. So anyway, there you have it. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. Yeah, so I mean, happy Halloween. As I said, be safe if you're going out there by yourself or with your kids. So be safe, love each other, and bye now. Have a great weekend.